the critical path for us to be able to advance towards drilling was we held the mineral rights to this area, and an indigenous community, the Kankwani community, had the surface rights to this area. And it's been multiple years working to build trust, to understand exactly what we want to do, what our company culture is about. And we've succeeded with that now with an agreement where we can get in and access this area. So it's a huge milestone for the company.
All right, welcome back inside our Proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Dan Simons. He's the CEO of C3 Metals. And Dan, it's good to have you back again. How are you?
I'm doing well, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you back, especially because the company has significant news out about reaching a crucial surface access agreement. So let's talk about the area first off, obviously in relation to your project.
Sure. So the Khaleesi project sits right along the contact of a very favorable geologic setting that we see in southern Peru. That's very similar surface expressions as we see to the nearby Las Bambas mine that's operated by MMG, the Constancia and Pampacancha mines operated by Hudbay Minerals, all within 45 kilometers of the Khaleesi project. And the critical path for us to be able to advance towards drilling was we held the mineral rights to this area, and an indigenous community, the Kankwani community, had the surface rights to this area. And it's been multiple years working to build trust, to understand exactly what we want to do, what our company culture is about. And we've succeeded with that now with an agreement where we can get in and access this area. So it's a huge milestone for the company.
Yeah, Dan, you mentioned a word that I think is really important to sort of highlight, and that is trust, because this isn't something where you can go in and say, hey, this is what we want. It's more so, this is what we'd like to do as partners. I think that's really the way that this has really sort of happened, right?
That's absolutely it's absolutely correct. And it doesn't matter. This happens to be southern Peru, but in my career, I've been involved with in Mexico with ejidos, in Canada with First Nation communities. And it is about building partnerships and trust and recognizing that we as foreign companies are visitors to these areas, and that we owe it to these communities to be completely transparent about what we want to do, why we want to do it, what the benefits to these economic benefits to the community will be through our exploration and development of these mineral assets. And that takes some time. As you can imagine, if you had a stranger show up at your doorstep and say that they want to come and do work on your property, you're not going to necessarily trust somebody right away. So there's a lot of boots on the ground time, spending time within the local communities, and these things have their own pace to them, and you feel them out as you go. But where we sit today, now the community is extremely supportive of what we want to do. The exploration, very excited about it. We have members of the local community already in the field collecting some samples that we need for our drill permitting process, and that's part of what we're doing is trying to create jobs locally.
Yeah. And last question, that is, in the news release, you really talk about using the word crucial. Can you just sort of put in context just how important this deal really is for project moving forward?
The project doesn't move forward without this deal. It's been the critical path item for us. So for us to go through and get the environmental permit that is required for us to do exploration drilling, the ministry wants to see that you have a agreement that you can actually get in on the surface and do that work. It's also a critical path for us is to be able to get on the ground and take samples. I mean, the preliminary mapping that we've done in the area shows a kilometer by a kilometer and a half area of a very large hydrothermal system where we have epithermal veins, where we have rock chip samples grading over 2% copper and 6% gold, or six grams per ton gold. We have skarn with grading over to 2.6% copper in rock chips. And then there's also an outcropping, there's porphyry style B veins outcropping where we've seen rock chip samples above 1% copper and close to 1 gram gold. So it looks like it has size and scale potential with good grade. What we're seeing near surface, it's all the recipes of what you want. But if you don't have that social license, you're not moving forward. And that's something that really impedes projects globally, is when companies are unable to gain that social license. And it does take time. And again, it's about building trust, but we've done that now and we have that agreement in place.
Absolutely. Important work for sure. Dan, thanks so much. Great to catch up with you. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Dan Simons, CEO of C3 Metals.